Nobody can be absolutely free until they're financially free. So if you have a bike and you're tied to payments, you're not going to be able to ride as much. Why? Because you have to come up with $400, $500, $600, whatever you're paying. And we know people that are paying upwards of $800, $900 to $1,000 a payment, right? That's
To $1,000 or more than $1,000
More-
because
more
I know
than
people that's paying
$1,000.
$1,000 to $200.
right. Hey, how you doing? Welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered Garage, episode 6, Keeping Up with the Davidsons. What are we talking about? Keeping Up with the Davidson.
We're talking about it's not the Kardashians. It's
It's not even the Joneses. It's not even keeping up with the Joneses,
keeping
which is
up with
what
the Joneses.
everybody else talks about, but we keep up with the Davidsons.
Okay, so for the people that are not American, because that's an American saying, what does keeping up with the Johnsons mean?
The Joneses.
The Johnsons means.
Hey man, if my neighbor has a new truck, I gotta get a newer truck.
Yes.
If they painted the house,
Blue.
I gotta paint the house and
Dark
do the
blue.
pressure wash on the roof.
Yeah.
It's that keeping up.
It's the concept.
It's what we call the one-upping. For those of you that are Latinos, if you remember Kiko from El Chavo del Ocho, if El Chavo had a little ball, he would go into his house and bring out the biggest beach ball he could find. If he had a sandwich, he would go in and get whatever it was. He always had to one-up El Chavo. So that is what keeping up with the Joneses is. And for us, it's keeping up with the Davidsons. And we're talking about all the good things, the awesome things that we see that people put on their bikes, and then all of a sudden, I need that. It's not I want it. It's not I could use it. It's that I need it.
Okay.
Absolutely. I got to do whatever I have to.
I have to.
That's bananas.
And do you remember the big wheel bag?
Big wheel baggers.
Big wheel baggers.
Oh, Jesus.
And the rings, and so how they 21, from 21 we quickly went to 23, from 23 to 26. Now you have people with 32, and people just love those things. They cannot ride it, but they love
They're trailer queens, right? For a lot of them. I've seen some of them on the road.
Yeah.
But by and large, they become trailer queens. It's really impractical.
It's impractical. I had a 21, never got that on my bike. I would have never done that to my bike. I had a 21 in the front, and I just downsized to what's the
19.
19. Because I put miles on my bike. But listen, I was that guy. When my first motorcycle was a Dyna. And I bought on that, and I put on that Dyna, whatever East Coast had on it. Like, I mean, it's like East Coast vomited on my Dyna. That's West Coast. Like West Coast vomited on my Dyna. It was like Dax Taylor blessed the Dyna, and whatever had on the Dyna was that. It was a club style Dyna. And I wanted my Dyna to look club style. And the first set of, I went through 3 sets of handlebars. I went through 3 different seats on my bike. Now, with motorcycles, you know how it is. You can be doing the math right now, because when you change the handlebars, not only you're changing handlebars, but you're changing cables, you're changing the grips, you're changing a lot of stuff. Sometimes you have to, you have to drain some fluid. Seats, we're talking about $600.
Because hemorrhaging money is what you would do.
That's what I was doing. What else did I do on the bike? I did the floorboard.
Yes.
On the bike. And guess what I never did on that bike?
You never did pipes.
I never did pipes on that bike. Because for me it was about the look. Nobody's going to listen to this bike through pictures. Yeah. She was a bike, it was important for me. It's like, how does she look on the ground? And it was the most uncomfortable motorcycle to ride until I finally found my setting. I found my motor setting and whatnot, and that has become my setting, my setup in every single bike. It don't matter that it's a Dyna or a bagger. That's pretty much the same eye for the same handlebars and that kind of stuff. And I found my company, but it is a trap.
It is. It's very easy to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Of the stare and compare.
Yeah.
You have your bike, You see something on the road, you see something out there, you see something on a magazine, on Instagram. Instagram is a blessing and a curse for so many people.
Yeah.
As is
I would say more a
TikTok.
curse. Yeah.
Because you see so many things, and I really like the way that looks. What do I have to do to get that on my bike? And now it's, again, every time you do that, you just emptying your wallet. And do you add more pragmatic things to your bike? More often than not, it's not. It's gonna be wasteful. It's just, you just really, you're burning through money, actually.
So I have, listen, if you are addicted to motorcycle modifications and to that kind of stuff, I can't say that I'm your drug dealer, Stu. I can put it to you that way. Why? Because I have an Instagram page that I repost everything that I like and I don't wanna buy, and I repost that every single time. It's called Solo and Iron. And I repost a lot of good motorcycles, good looking motorcycles, and there's a beautiful community. It's something that people do. Now, I have to say, since the Dyna to these days, it might be because the economy changed, or it might be because I have two kids now in private school. I don't know what it is. But if you want to give me a road name, I will be El Chipo. No El Chapo, El Chipo, because I became really cost efficient, if you will.
Bidenomics. The effects of Bidenomics.
No, but this started before, and I don't go out of my way to not anymore. I got a new motorcycle and I need to modify everything. I don't do that anymore. I know what I like and I know what works for me, which is not mostly every single motorcycle that you get, you're gonna have to change for the most part handlebars, seat, and pipes. When you're buying a motorcycle, you need to.
That's a trifecta.
Not that it's a trifecta, man. I think it's needs, right? If you really want to be able to enjoy your motorcycle right away. Harley doesn't make perfect motorcycles. The new Road Glide is in the 2024. For my height, it's almost perfect. But I still need to change the bike. But that's as much as I do to my bike nowadays. I remember the first time that I took my brand new, for me at least, it was new to me, in Road Glide to the dealership, and I was asked the question, what are you gonna put next on your bike? And my answer was miles. That's what I want to put on my bikes anymore. I don't wanna put. I really like to personalize my bike, but it's a budget thing for me.
Yeah. So what I can see is, and from what you're telling me, is that you really found your groove. You found what worked for you.
Yeah.
And that's what so many people don't understand. It's not about so much how it looks, but how it feels.
It's function. Yeah. For me, it's function.
If you don't, because when you're riding, if it doesn't feel right, if you're not sitting correctly, if your shoulders are not in the right position, your hands are not in the right position, your legs are not in the right position, you're gonna be riding awkwardly, and you're not gonna have total control of your bike because it's not natural. It's not a natural feeling. What you did was you found your ideal position, and now you know where you need to be and how you need to be so that your riding can be the most efficient. You get to put more miles. That's why now you're thinking, I want to put miles on a bike. I don't want to waste money. I don't want to lose money.
You know what? I never saw it like that. That's very cool.
Again, right? Because that's what it's like. When you work in an office. I was telling Beast the other day, you need to work at getting it so that you don't. You sit in an office all day, you're sitting on your chair, you need to have the ergonomics set. You have to have your keyboard in a good position, because if not, you get the carpal tunnel, you get your back jacked up, all this because you're in the wrong position. But we don't know this sometimes, and that's when we start to have all these problems. With the bike, it's the same deal. You don't have a good seat, you don't have good bars, you don't have good control, no pipes, they can't hear you. Before you know it, you're getting sideswiped on the road. That's why, if anybody's asking me, and not that a lot of people do, but when I offer advice, I tell them, get pipes, get good handlebars, and get a good seat. Everything else, you can tweak it as you go along, but those are going to be the most important things for you to be comfortable when you ride, and it'll keep you safe.
Man, I agree with that so wholeheartedly that for me it is when you go to the dealership and it tells you that the new bike is $27,000, That doesn't exist, right? It's like $35,000 out of the door,
out of the door,
out of
yes.
the door, in this day and age, at least. So to that, you have to add another $4,000 at least, three grand. If you wanna listen, a
Three
city
is on a budget. Actually, three is on a really good budget.
It's in a good
4 to
budget.
5 is gonna be
more realistic.
and that's out the gate.
That is out the gate. Now, can you write? And I know people that have done it. But we're not talking about those mods. Those to me are a necessity. Those to me are what is important, required for you to ride, to have us. And you said something really important. It's not just about distance riding. It's about having control of your motorcycle, which is now safety. We're talking about safety. When you have control of your bike, we're talking about safety. We're talking about making it home. It's a safe manner. We're talking about now the lights, the Baja design lights, right?
$1,000.
$1,000. They just come up with some lights for the new road lights for the 2024. $2,000. They look spectacular. They're Baja design. It's a Baja design looking lights. It is an assembly. It's $1,000. Carbon fiber, bro. You put carbon fiber everywhere. You put people that put and this is people that just cannot even ride.
Because they've fallen in love with the idea of the looks. Now, mind you,
Is there something wrong with that?
no, if you have money, if you've got money and you can pay for it, hey, by all means, go to town. I said go ham. If you've got the money,
Go
for it.
Go for
ham.
it.
Go. Why not? Now, if you don't have the money, and if you're trying to be conscientious about how you spend, and you're trying to do something on a budget with, which I'm going to be honest, I'm not ashamed to say I don't have unlimited funds for my bikes. I don't. I have to try. That's why I buy a big majority of my stuff. I'll get it from Amazon. I'll get it off brand. It's not Harley Davidson. It's not going to be perhaps all in that stuff or top of the line. It's not going to be top of the
you
line.
get some traction supply your bike and she's gonna get a rush.
No, hey, my bike is Amazon special all day, every day, twice on Sunday. I'm not ashamed of it.
So Chinese that you made it in India.
Oh, bro, listen, man. Hey, man.
So Polaris.
If we were to really dig in deep and where are these parts being made, at the end of the day, we'd be surprised.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. I will tell you what I do. What I look for is, does it look good from 10 feet and at 60 miles an hour? If it looks good at 10 feet, 60, I'm good. I'm good. Because if it gives me what I need, the functionality that I need, I'll do it. Now, there are a bunch of great brands out there that you don't have to break the budget. We've got lights from Rogue Rider Industry. Great company, really good lights at a budget. They're affordable. Advan Blank is a blessing to so many people because a lot of their parts come color matched at a bargain.
Yeah,
right?
and you don't have to.
You're not.
How much is a tour pack from Harley?
And listen, man, don't knock them because just in case we can get sponsorship. But yeah, it's expensive. It adds up. It adds up. And when all of this is gonna be maybe financed, and I would just tell you guys, if you are watching this and you're thinking, hey man, I would like to buy a new bike, and you know that I have a friend that just recently bought a brand new 2024 Street Glide, awesome bike. Unfortunately, it wasn't the right fit for him, right? But we're gonna have to retrofit this for him because he is 6'2", and he's got some size to him. But unfortunately, the dealership, and I bless them because we spend a lot of time, I spend a lot of time at the dealerships, I serve them, but a lot of the guys that work at the dealership, they're not always 100% invested in making sure that their customers get the best item, best motorcycle that they want. Especially because if somebody comes in with the idea, and this is just sales, they have an idea, I want a Street Glide, they're not trying to convince them otherwise because they already have a yes. What do they want? They want a Street Glide. That's a sale.
And people say, no, it's a bagger.
Which is not correct, right? There's reasons why there are Road Glides and Street Glides and Road Kings, right? These are all touring bikes. They're all part of the touring family, but they have different uses and different profiles for different people. And you can make one into another. So many things are interchangeable. However, what I want to say is, what I'm trying to get at to is make sure that you are being mindful of your purchase now and what is going to follow so that you can then plan correctly. Because you go into it thinking, oh, I'm going to spend this amount of money. And what do we say about the bike? The bike is the down payment for what?
For the accessories.
For the accessories. It's a down payment now. You buy a bike today and now immediately you're gonna think, okay, I wanna get this, I wanna get that, I'm gonna change this, I'm gonna change. What are you changing? What's the priorities? All of that comes into play. And for me, there's a huge thought process that should go into it just so that you don't end up spending buku dollars. And money that you're never gonna get back. You buy an accessory for $300, that doesn't increase the value of your bike. It makes it prettier.
Actually means, more
But
functional.
now-
But when you're going to trade in that bike,
Bro, they
they
kill
give
us.
you-
They don't give you anything. They don't give anything additional.
for
It's the book.
yeah.
Whatever the blue book says.
The blue book says what?
The the bike is worth 12. I'll give you 12. Oh, but I spent $15,000 worth of accessories.
No.
That's good for you.
Yeah,
Or good for the next person.
For-
It's good. Definitely right. Good for the next person.
Good for the next person. Yeah. Listen, I struggle with the idea. I don't know if struggle is the right word, but I much rather investing money on trips,
Of course.
on hotel, food, gas, on facilitating a trip than spending money, for instance. And I'm just name prices, right? And I'm knocking no company, but windshields for these suckers are going now for $289, almost $300, man. Seats are going for the cheapest of them is going for over $400, $500.
Yeah.
And up. Sky's the limit on those lights. And we just talk about the lights, the LED lights, man, and you don't even ride at night. And I cannot tell you something how uncomfortable those lights are when you're riding on a pack. I'm much more. I want to punch someone.
Yeah,
you're
blinding other people.
I ride in the front, and once we had a wrong when one of the guys was behind me. I really wanted to punch that guy. Really. I'm so grateful because my RC is at the front next to me, because otherwise, man, it would drive me nuts. But this is the kind of stuff that people need to look. Now, I said that I struggle with the idea of spending money on motorcycle ride motorcycle parts, because I believe it's closer to the biker culture, the desire to want to be on two wheels. And I'm putting this context on this premise just to ask a question. Do you think that people that have prima donnas bikes, garage queens that are just well kept, garage kept, they have all the toys on it and they look fantastic, and they just bring it once per month to the bike night, to the local bike night. Do you consider those people bikers?
Not really. I consider them to be motorcycle enthusiasts and motorcycle owners. Again, right? For me, a biker is somebody that uses the bike is a tool and it has a purpose. And the purpose is to make memories. If you have your bike and you're not willing to use it, and when I say not willing, it's just, oh, it's gonna rain. There's a 10% chance of rain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say, oh, I just washed her. Then definitely that's not the right idea for me. The idea is, hey man, I washed it. You wash the bike. The reason why you wash your bike really is to keep it nice and shiny, maybe, but really is to see where it's leaking oil from. If you don't ever wash your bike, you're never gonna know, is it leaking oil? Is there a problem with it, right? So for me, I'll clean it, but I wanna make sure that it's not leaking, it's not having any issues. That when you're washing it, when you're close to the wheels, you see what the tire tread is looking, you see what your brake pads are looking like, right? But if you just keep it spotless, you don't use it, you don't have to worry about any of that, because it's not getting any use. So I don't consider a person that uses their bike once a month or, once every 2 months or 3 months a biker.
Same here, and I can equate this to, for instance, we have here in South Florida, we have the Dania Beach vintage motorcycle show.
It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful show. But the vintage motorcycle owners, they don't ride them bikes. They're just, they are motorcycle enthusiasts. They love them, and their owners, right? They love the motorcycle. They work on the motorcycles. Different mods, even more costly sometimes. But it's the same. It's exactly the same.
Now, let me tell you something. I do consider that if they have a vintage bike, which they are keeping pristine for the historic value, I don't necessarily wouldn't consider them a biker, especially if they have a daily driver or daily rider, right? Because, yeah, they have their regular everyday bike, and then they have their...
Okay, no, this is the only
Right.
bike.
Yeah.
And this is my... So, for example, this bike right here, you know that I bought it. It's 2000. It's going to be an antique next year. 25 years, I think, that I get that blue plate. And I rode this to Daytona the other day because I lent out my everyday bike, my long ride bike, what I call, right? My long distance bike. But I was at the gas station. We did a stop, and there was this gentleman with a 1999 Softail Springer with 140,000 miles.
Nice.
Beautiful. And it
That's
had
awesome, bro. That's
so much character. So again, I think that you can have your older, I want to keep nice bike, keep it alive. I ride this bike often because of the vibe that I feel on it. But if I have to, I'll take it up to Daytona. I didn't want to. You remember I was talking about, I want to put the miles on it. I came back with a different idea, different mindset. I'm thinking, you know what? It's got 10,000 miles right now. It's been a survivor so far. I'm going to throw miles on it as much as I can, actually, because it hasn't seen enough road. So she's been missing out. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to ride her more and more. I'll try to see how I can get to cruise control, maybe get a six gear on her.
The transition is not difficult.
Yeah, no. But I want to make her more comfortable because it was beautiful to see her on the road and to feel her on the road. So yeah, the vintage people, they might be bikers that are just really keeping these bikes alive. So now, if you have a classic and you're not using it and you just have it because it's your prize item, well, yeah,
That's different.
You're a collector.
You're a collector.
You're a collector.
You're a collector. Listen, I'm going to read from I'm going to quote the Bible. It says, Ecclesiastes 1:2 says, vanity of vanity, says the preacher. Vanity of vanity, all is vanity. And I just wanted to bring this Bible verse into this because, man, there is we're not talking about people that love motorcycles, that they love to put, we're talking about people that are chasing the next one, chasing the next mod. And I need to put the next thing, and I need to put the next this, and I need to put the next that, and I need to put, and I think that is something that, allow me to say, it's not only sinful, and if you're a Christian biker, I think you have a void that you need to fill, but also you are not letting your bike give you the best that she can give you when you're just swapping and I want this carbon fiber, and I want these wheels and this, and I want this. What are you gonna do with such a? Oh, I want to make it lighter because what? Because you do what? You race and the value races. Yeah, get the value. What did you do? What did you do with that bike? So that to me is where chasing mods is not. It's not a trouble. It's not a problem. Chasing mods because you have a void in your heart, and that could be modifications on a motorcycle, could be the next car, could be the next watch. This guy was with the watches and the guns. I kept on chasing guns, and I need the next gun. My wife once asked me, "Are you gonna hunt an elephant? What do you need to do with somebody else? Are you sponsoring the next revolution?" Because I was chasing guns, and then so whatever is filling the void that only Jesus can fill, I think is damaging. And the Bible says it's simple.
Yeah. No, again, and it becomes, it's just a bad habit that you get into. And it's very easy sometimes if you have the money, and again, I'll fall back to the fact that if you have an overabundance of money, there's two things that you can do. First is you can sell me whatever you want. I'll accept all offerings and any gifts. But if you have the money, go ahead. Like you say, do it. But what are you doing it for? Right? If you're improving on something that you really use.
Oh, we're gonna be talking about
Now, mind you, and I bring to this Julio. Julio, our guy, it was a great mechanic, by the way.
Mad Scientist Garage.
Mad Scientist Garage on Instagram.
Follow Instagram.
Follow him. Give him all the props. And if you ever need anything, he is a great asset to have.
Julio, aka El Malvado.
And Malvado.
Yeah.
That guy, he does so many things, and he's a pioneer.
Yeah. He's a fabricator.
He was making things when
Yeah,
nobody
yeah.
else was doing things with what he had a low, right? He had
Do you
stuff
remember
to low.
the low rider?
The low rider. He had a low rider. That bike had an evolution. It just evolved into so many things. It was a thing of beauty to watch.
Way before it was something.
No.
Way before it was.
Yes.
Way
before it was a fad.
Yeah.
He was. I will tell you that I say that bar none, he is the trend setter. He is one of the trend setters in South Florida.
Not in South Florida. There's this kid. His name is Justin. He's from Texas. I don't remember his name. And he started racing, and he had a lowrider, and he just tapped on Julio for so many things and so many through Instagram. Man, how do you do this? How do you do that? And not only Julio is great with the modifications, but he's so generous with his knowledge.
Yeah.
He loves this. He loves sharing the knowledge.
Because it's the love of the craft. He loves the craft.
So that's our next point in this podcast today. There is a right way to do modifications. It's not that doing modifications is wrong.
Not
There's
at all.
a right way.
Yeah.
We said, and we agree on this, that you're modifying your bike because you love the way that your bike looks like, and you want to keep it like, that's great. But you're modifying your bike to impress the next neighbor, to impress the Davidsons.
Keeping up with the Davidsons, that's right.
You're just modifying your bike so you can impress others. Yeah, man, I'll be praying for you. What do you feel about that?
No, well, it's never going to end.
Never gonna end.
Listen, I just came back from Daytona a couple of weeks ago. And every time I go to a rally, I am more convinced and just get more certain of the following. Somebody's always going to have a much better looking bike than yours.
And you should be okay with that.
And you have to be okay with it, because if not, you will never be happy with what you have. Because you work on your bike, you do something, you make a little change, and you see something and you're gonna, wait a minute, I can do that too. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with getting ideas and picking up tips and educating yourself and thinking, hey, what is that for? Oh, that does this. Okay, fine. Do I need it? How much is it? And then you weigh balances risk versus reward, like everything in life, right? If it's high cost, low reward, then don't do it. But the truth is that you're doing it because you like the way it looks and because you want your bike to be the best one in the parking lot. I've got a cold bucket of ice water to dump on you right now. Somebody's always gonna have a better looking bike, a bigger budget, deeper pockets, and you're gonna be unhappy at the end of the day, because if your idea is, I have to have the prettiest bike or I have to have the best bike, man, there's a lot of competition for that out there. However,
And it's so biased, you know. So
again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
So if you ask me, there's no other better bike than mine. Why? First of all, it's paid off. Secondly, it's mine. So that, for me, that's the best bike out there. Right now, nobody can, it's mine. It's paid off. I don't have to worry about anything. I get to ride it. And if it gets dirty, it gets dirty. If something breaks, that's what I have extended warranty on it for. I don't lose sleep on it. I get to enjoy it. And I get to think about, all right, let's put miles on it. It's got 40,000, it's close to 40,000 right now. My goal is to hit 100,000. 120, 140. If I can get a new bike, I'll add to it. I'll add it to the stable. But do I need to think about blowing my wallet on all these mods? Not at all.
Not at all. So another good way to do mods, because we just established that there are good ways to do mods. And one of them is just because you want personal satisfaction. The second one, to me, it is because it's meaningful to your style of riding. So it's meaningful to the way that you control your bike. It's meaningful for the way that, listen, it is even meaningful for the way that your club rides. There are clubs, and I don't know, I'm not gonna name any clubs that don't allow you to have a color motorcycles. It has to be black. You fit on those right away. There are clubs that they won't allow you to modify the engine of the bike because they want reliability. They don't want speed.
Yes.
They want reliability in the bike. It's perfect. My club doesn't have any restriction whatsoever, but there are certain modifications that for me are super important. And the most important is that I need to have T-bars, and just have to. It's just, I am not a person that things come natural to me. I have to work pretty hard, and muscle memory is a thing, and I have to practice a lot in everything that I do in life. And the first motorcycle that I rode when I was a kid was motocross, and this is the easiest way for me to translate the feeling of having a motocross at their bike, which is T-bars. I have to have them, really have to. There's ways to get a T-bar on a road glide. There is a Vindicta, for instance, and they're doing with the Hub TZ, they're doing an amazing job of giving you the feeling of T-bars without having to modify everything. But there's modifications that are meaningful to you. They're meaningful for your style of riding. Cams, people want more speed, they really need more speed. That's a good modification to do. That's something that is meaningful. What do you think about that?
No, I agree 100%. So you know me, I rode my bike for, I think, a couple years with their stock handlebars on the electric line, standard. And that was just maybe one of the stupidest things that I could have done. Because as soon as I put the 12-inch bars, going from an 8-inch, which is what the stock bars are.
Are they?
I believe they're 8.
For T-Rex.
Yeah, man, it's very short. And that's why it's so uncomfortable sometimes in maneuver, right? You want to do a slow maneuvers, and you're pushing and you're pulling and you're fighting the bike.
Harley Davidson, you're listening?
Yeah.
They changed that.
You did a great job with the
stock
road
handlebars
glide.
on the road glide.
On the road glide, the bars are phenomenal. On the 2024,
Do that with the street glide.
But again, that's where their money is coming from. Accessories.
Yeah, I guess.
Right? But the bars, they give you so much more leverage, so much more control. So for me, if you ask me, bars, pipes, that's the first thing I did on the bike. And that's the first thing that I would recommend anybody to do. Get pipes so that you can be heard. You remember, we're not seen, people are not looking for motorcycles, but they damn will hear us coming if you have loud pipes. And that is why we say loud pipes save lives. You know me, all my bikes have been always loud as hell because I want to hear them. I want them to hear me coming from a distance. So pipes, bars, and a good seat.
Can I tell you something? Not gonna put pipes on my next bike. The one that I have has all amazing pipes. It has some bouncing heights on it. I'm going to put probably sleep pumps, cover neighbor haters. Make it a little louder. But man, they just are so annoying after 2 hours, 3 hours ride. And then whenever I take a long distance ride, man, I'm just putting plugs and they drive me crazy.
They do.
And after lunch,
for it.
yeah, after lunch, they made me sleep.
The drone.
Yeah,
Well,
makes me.
if you ask me, I've been able to, and I might be going deaf, but I've been able to really.
Yeah, you don't use a full face.
I don't use a full face helmet. I use just a novelty helmet. Don't hate me for it. And I sometimes use plugs, I sometimes don't. But for me, those are the most important modifications. And then if you need more speed, but again, right, I always look at things as risk versus reward. You want more speed, that's awesome. Now you're gonna have less gas mileage. You're gonna have a poor gas mileage. So you're gonna be stopping more frequently for refills, right? To top off the tank. So is that something that you want? I remember riding with our buddy with the V-Rod. We had to make stops frequently because the V-Rod is a gas guzzler. So again, risk versus reward. All modifications, they have a price to them, not only monetarily, but also in the comfort-wise. I've got 16 inches on Esther. That's murder, bro. With no cruise control, that's murderous. Because I have to have my hand on the throttle for hours if I'm not stopping soon. and I have to fool around with the clutch and then lower the hand, pump my hand. But again, I risk it because of the look. That I wasn't gonna.
And she's a
that was
bi. That's her bi.
That was a non-negotiable thing for me.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, I had to make that decision.
Yeah.
When coming to that.
Yeah, does this bike. Listen, great, we can do modifications, but let's bring to, there is a word, man, in the Bible, let's bring this to a little bit to the Bible, right? It's called stewardship. And I believe this is, you might be a believer or not, really don't matter. Is having responsibility, right? And to me, I know people that go and just get a credit card, and they get in debt just to, forget about the motorcycle, which is a $30,000 debt, but just to have the new wheels, just to have the new carbon fiber, just to have the new thing, just to have the new that. And let me tell you something, I have been there. That has been me. And I have done that. Just to have the next helmet, just to have the next fix. What does the Bible says about that, man? What does the Bible says? And by the way, I want to be clear that the Bible doesn't say anything about, the Bible doesn't say that for the Christians, that money is the root of all evil. It says that love of money. So we are chasing sometimes we're chasing the wrong thing. And God doesn't have a problem with you having money or you spending money. He has a problem with you worshiping money. Yes. So what does the Bible says about stewardship? How can you keep it centered? How can you keep it balanced? How can you do that?
Yes, man.
How have you done it? Because you have done a great job, Abner, I have to say, on that. And I admire that, really do admire that. I admire that you have put money where it's worth, which you have done a couple of modifications internally in your bike, and that's what it's worth. And you put money on paying it off. You put money into that. You paid it off before the term was.
I paid the bike off pretty much in 2 years.
Yes.
And the reason, first of all, to answer your question, the Bible says that we should be good stewards with our money and our time, right? And it also says that we should not procure to have treasures on earth where the
Earthly treasures.
Yes, earthly treasures where that are just gonna rot either way. At the end of the day, they're gonna rot. I know it in Spanish very well, but in English it's a little bit tougher for me. What I look towards is the following. I put the money towards what is going to give me the best use of it. I paid off the bike early. What for? So that I don't have to worry about having debt. First of all, I want to be debt free. Nobody can be absolutely free until they're financially free. If you have a bike and you're tied to payments, you're not going to be able to ride as much. Why? Because you have to come up with $400, $500, $600, whatever you're paying. And we know people that are paying upwards of $800, $900 to $1,000 a payment. That's
to $1,000 or more than $1,000. Because I know people that's paying $1,000 to $200.
Right, $1,200. If you have the money, praise God, I'm happy for you. But a lot of people don't have that kind of money, and they get into the payment. Now they can't ride, now they can't go, now they can't make the memories because they don't have the extra cash. What I look towards also is the following, and it is, I would never allow the bike or any parts or any part of the motorcycle to become more important than the mission. And what I call a mission is enjoyment, to be a blessing, to be a tool for my ministry, to be a tool to be a blessing for others. My bikes are mine. They're not mine. They're God's, first of all. That's the way I see it. If you need a bike, I'll lend you my bike. I'll get you whatever you need. A lot of people, that in this culture is not common, because the same way you wouldn't lend out your wife, usually you don't lend out your bike. Unless it's to a brother. The wife doesn't apply. That's off limits. But the bike, usually, by and large,
You don't
lend
no one else.
You don't lend it. You don't let anybody barely sit on it. But it's a tool for me. It's a gift that God gave me, and if you need it, it's yours. That's what I bought her for. So that when people come to Florida, they want to ride to the Keys. Here you go. Use this one, right? So for me, it's about making sure that it's not a treasure, it's not an idol, it's not something that is going to come between me and my service to God.
Can I say something to you, dude? That's important because I believe I'm in the same mentality. And when it comes to making it an idol, I sold a bike, the Road King, because she was becoming an idol for me. I was so in love with that motorcycle, so in love with how she looked. Man, I will just sit on her. When I was sad, I wouldn't, or anxious, I wouldn't go pray. I would sit on there. I would just go take it for a spin. I was so in love with the motorcycle. And that was becoming a big issue for me. So I appreciate you bringing that to our audience today. There's something that is important for us, man, and it's also understanding that you have to stay under, you have responsibility, and you touch into something, you modify what adds more value. That's an investment, however you want to see it. It's an investment. When Bitcoin blew up 5 years ago, I remember people just putting money to Bitcoin like there is no tomorrow, but they didn't have, putting the money that they were saving for a house into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Because this is the new coin, and this coin they didn't understand anything about that coin. They didn't understand anything about the market. They didn't understand anything about investments like that. So I'm gonna put the money into this, but I still have to pay this. I still have to pay that, and it's a balance. I'm not telling you don't enjoy it. Once again, I'm going to be the first one telling you enjoy your motorcycle, but have a balance, right? If you're going to buy a new seat, but you cannot make a credit card payment because you can't make a credit card payment or a car payment, that's a problem, dude.
Yeah.
That's a huge problem, and that's lack of maturity. And I know a lot of people that go through that. We all men go through that somehow.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. One of the things is, in Puerto Rico, they say that you can only cover, so you cover yourself up until where the sheet really reaches. You can't, if you don't have enough sheet to cover your whole body, then you can only cover the most important parts. Let's say it like that, right? And that's what you're talking about. If you don't have the money for the latest and greatest, then you better make sure that you're not robbing Peter to pay Paul. Because at the end of the day, the chickens are gonna come home to roost. And the bill collector is gonna come and then start the calls. And then with the financial stress, if you're married, now you're gonna have your wife asking, hey man, why don't we have enough steaks in the fridge? And what are you gonna say? Baby, I got the new wheels. Come on, you gotta understand, I needed the new wheels. No, fool, meat in the fridge. We needed milk and bread and everything, and with the prices of how that's going, really, you have to prioritize. And that's where I land. 100% modified, why not? Within your means. And what I like to think of it is the following. Your bike is going to evolve. Then enjoy the process.
Enjoy the process. Enjoy the process.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love about my motorcycle club, and shout out to the guys if they're listening to, is that we have guys in my nation, dude, that they have motorcycles with over 100,000 miles, man. And they keep on riding it, and they don't stop. They don't baby those bikes. They keep on riding them and riding them hard. And one of the guys, there's a coin, and there's a coin, a pin in my motorcycle club, and it's called the usual suspects. These are people that are everywhere. They're brothers that they're more nomads than brothers that the regular chapter members. And you just say, oh, we just did this. Oh, and these people came from where? Oh, from Texas. And this guy came from where? Oh, these are the Florida guys. So I'm saying all this because these guys enjoy the process and they enjoy the evolution. They create more, they have motorcycles and they have gone through 21 wheels, 21 inches front wheel. Let's go back to 19. Let's go back to wide ball walls because they're versatile and they have changed it. It has been a process for them. I think that's beautiful.
And there's so much enjoyment because every time you give your bike a facelift, it's like you have a new bike.
Yeah.
Recently, I changed the engine guards on my bike. I changed the engine guards. I changed the saddlebag guards. I changed the fender. Now the bike looks like a totally different bike. I took off the sissy bar that I had on it. Now it looks like a different bike. Small details that are all functional, These are all functional things. And now I have a new bike for less than $1,000.
Yeah. For less than
And since
$1,000.
the bike is paid off, I
get
don't
to do
have to.
that, we have
I
no
get
problem.
to do that, and then I have a little. I can put aside a little money, and then the next things are probably going to be some engine modifications, just to give it a little bit more pep. Again, I don't have a payment. I can do that. If I had a payment, then I probably
That's a different
wouldn't be able
situation.
to
You
do
have
it,
to
right?
save money
I
towards
have to-
that,
I
right?
have to save money. I have to plan it. I have to be more conscientious. It's a process. The bike, when I bought it, you remember when I bought it, it looked like it was just.
It had a lot of chrome.
Yeah, it had a lot of
chrome.
chrome. And slowly, I've been blacking
Yeah,
it out.
yeah,
as-
people
as
don't
much
know
as
what
I
it
can.
is.
Now, if they can only tell what it is because of the emblem on the tank, because
Yeah.
it was the only model that had that emblem.
That emblem.
Right.
So, you know what I saw, dude? I saw a road glide police
Oh, man. Interesting. Where was that?
up in Gainesville. I saw road glide police. He does with a 114 already.
Oh man, I want. And what color was it? Was it the regular
It looks like
police color?
a
Cop
It
bike.
was a cop bike?
Black. Yeah, cop bike.
Interesting. No, because I thought it might have been a confiscation.
No, a road glide police with the cavalry with this thing. This is a police bike too.
Yeah,
So
I would love to find me a road chain police.
You know how much are they?
glide Police bike. How much?
dude, brand new.
Put it.
According to the guy, 24. He just
24?
texted me. 24.
That's not bad.
Out of MSRP, out of the door.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Wow.
No, not at all.
I wonder where you got that.
Yeah. So it's not the 2024, it's the 2023, but
Doesn't matter.
Don't matter. Don't matter. Well, I have videos, I'll show you later. So listen, to me, one of the problems is that we are at the end telling of October right here. And we got some fools that are saving money for Black Friday, but they're not saving money for the Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah. See, that's
That-
priorities.
That is sad to me.
Priorities. And that's where the stewardship comes into. Tony Evans has a wonderful book that is called Kingdom Man. And in the book Kingdom Man, it discusses the different phases that men go through.
Uh-huh.
Boyhood
That's boyhood.
to manhood.
Uh-huh.
And in the boyhood phase, boys are selfish. They don't take into consideration their responsibility because they're responsible for themselves alone. And their main responsibility or their main focus is on me.
Me.
What do I want? I want the new game console. I want whatever it is, right? And everything revolves around them. That type of an attitude of I'm gonna spend all my money on me and my toys and not on the needs of the family, not on the fact that maybe I have a home, maybe I need something that the family will enjoy. Maybe your furniture is all jacked up and your wife would like a new a living room set, or the family needs a new dining room set, a new fridge, whatever it could be. Yet you don't think about that because everything revolves around your bike, your needs, your wants. Clearly that man hasn't graduated into manhood. A man will think, first of all, what does my wife need? What do my children need? What does my family need? And then I'll set aside some cabbage. Oh, it's gonna take some time. So what? You got a bike, you can still ride it.
And the beautiful part, listen, when I'm being tempted, and I just want to bring some encouragement, and we're bringing this for a landing, but when I'm being tempted to get the latest and greatest, and I need to chase, and I feel, oh my God, I feel defeated, or I feel that, oh my God, I don't have these, so I have way too much chrome, or I need to buy the new speaker, so whatever is the case. By the way, my bike, it is the bike that my wife likes.
That's a win.
That's a win. That's the bike that my wife saw that bike and she fell in love and said, baby, let's buy this one. It's not the one that I would have bought on my own. I would have bought a Road Glide Special. That's what I wanted. Black on black. That's what I wanted. She saw this one. She said, oh, but it has so much color. I said, didn't. And it has a little seat for me and everything. She saw the Ultra. But I love my bike. But the point that I'm trying to make is that whenever I feel that, oh my God, I need this, or I want that, or this, that, I just go for a ride. Solo. I just go solo. It's a solo ride. I go from point A to point B, no reason whatsoever. I try not to hit traffic, and I try to put some miles, some solo miles, some joyful miles, some allegedly not so legal miles, and some speeding miles. And when I come back, all the desires and wants are gone, buddy.
That's why you need to speed it up, so that all those desires can flow.
Go forward.
That's it. You're going back to basics. Back to basics. That's what we need to think about.
Yeah.
Back to basics. That is the solution to so many problems. Because when you go back to basics, you go no frills. And when we talking no frills, we're talking about, do you need a radio? You go up somewhere, do you have a radio? Maybe you don't. But if you don't have a radio, now you're listening to the hum of the motor. Now you're listening to the road. Now you're listening to the pipes. Now you're listening to everything. You're just in tune with nature. You're in tune with the bike. You become one with the bike. And again, it sounds corny. And if you're thinking it sounds corny, you've never done it.
Do you know what? And this is, probably I never shared this with you, or recently I haven't shared this with you. I don't listen to music on my motorcycle.
Yeah, you've told me that.
And that's okay with that. Some money on speakers. I actually just bought the speakers. Do you know I don't listen to music on my motorcycle? I either listen to music on my helmet, or I just don't listen to music at all. I need the screen for the GPS. But do you know that I don't need the GPS anymore, because I have an amazing rock captain, shout out to Tactic, that he tells me, Press, we need you here, and he takes care of the route, and I don't have
that's
to,
awesome. Well,
I don't have to look.
You enjoy the ride.
I get to enjoy the ride. Well, what I'm saying is that, man, I will be really okay with a rocking. Really okay with a rocking.
I'll tell you one thing. I rode up to Daytona and back with no radio. I was just singing my own tunes, listening to the pipes, listening to
looking at
the roads, smell. Bro, it was a beautiful thing. It's beautiful. Hey man, and I have the radio on the other bike, and that's fine. But going back to basics, like you say, whenever you're chasing that next, maybe whenever you're thinking about, man, I need that, I need this, and I would encourage you to really think about the following word: need. Do you need it or do you want it? If you can really distinguish what the want and what the need is, and you really focus on that, then you get to prioritize. It'll help you prioritize. Because we want a lot of things. We don't need that many. And when we start getting more of what we want than what we need, that's when the accounts, they start draining. Bless Kevin Hart with I have a checking and a savings.
Yeah.
Right? Because having that checkings and a savings mentality,
You only to stay in your financial lane.
it has kept me in the financial lane. Because, man, I would love to have a third and a fourth bike. But I would also like to buy property. I would like to buy some land. I would like to do other things. So I have the car that I need to fix. All these things.
Yeah.
A lot of wants and a lot of needs. But really, what's what? And that's where prayer comes into. And that's where connecting with our Father. And Father, help me understand, help me navigate, and help keep me in check so that I don't go overboard and so that I don't write checks that my account can't clear.
cash.
And then I don't have to have conversations with my wife looking like sad sand.
Yeah.
You know?
Listen, last piece, honestly. Something that I did, I believe, 3-4 years ago, and you follow, and you have capitalized on this. If you're a Harley guy, if you like your Harley Davidson, Harley Davidson has that, and you have the credit for that, get the credit card.
Oh, yeah.
Get the Harley Davidson credit card. Because the Harley Davidson credit card, during Christmas, is where I buy my boots. I don't buy that many stuff from Harley, but boots I buy from Harley. I like them. I really do.
Oil changes.
All changes.
Tires.
Tires.
Random parts. Whatever you need, you can trade in.
Points for it.
And
The points are connected with your miles. So the more you ride, the more points that you're gonna get. The more you buy, the more points that you're gonna get. So what I do is that that's not only my credit card for buying motorcycle stuff, which I cannot pay monthly, but I use it to put gas, which is a constant. And that's money that I'm going to have to pay regardless. What I'm doing is that every single month I'm paying the credit card, and those points are racking. So in that way, yes, I get to buy some stuff, but hardly get to pay for some of those stuff that I'm buying for.
Absolutely.
So I get points, and it's a good idea.
It's a win.
It's a win, and it's it's a Harley Davidson visa. And if you're a Harley rider, it can be connected with your miles, with the amount of miles that you put in every single year.
I use mine for everything. I wish I could pay my house with it because I use it for everything every day. I stopped using my debit card. And again, it's safer, right? Because when you buy with a credit card, you're always insured by Visa. So this is not a paid promotion, but really just common sense. Use a card, make the points, and then use the points to upkeep your parts you need, whatever you need on the bike. And one last thing, and I know we're pretty much coming to a close, and this is an episode that I wish it could last way longer than an hour because there's so many things that we could talk about. But listen, man, if you have a really good, close-knit group of guys, have the conversations regarding what you want to do, and have a sounding board that you could throw ideas and have somebody an accountability partner that will keep you in check.
That's important.
I tell my guys whenever somebody asks me, they'll ask me some advice. I'll give them some advice and I'll tell them, hey, listen, man, that's a great idea, but really I would.
It looks serious.
Or if it's silly, and if it again, right? Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. I may not like what you like, but if I'll throw it out there, guy from Anchorman. He says, I'll throw it out there. If you like it, you keep it. If not, throw it back. I'll give you some information. But have that accountability partner. Have the sounding board.
It's important, man. It's important what you're saying.
And
we don't share the same taste on motorcycles, the same style, if you will. But we appreciate each other's style, and I appreciate this style a lot. It wouldn't be my first bike; it was your second bike. Actually, this wouldn't be your first bike ever. You wouldn't put chrome in your first bike. You wouldn't go out and
not at all.
You know what? Let me buy the one
Not
with chrome.
at
You
all.
wouldn't do that.
No, not at all.
Actually, our tastes are becoming similar. That's right. But it has someone that can tell you, that's a lot of money, man. I think that's a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone that
And that's what you need. You need that voice of reason to say, bro, you're gonna throw what? You're gonna dump a grand? A couple bands on that? Wow, that's a lot of money. And or if we know of another way to do it cheaper, then we also help us with that. We help each other.
We
you can work around this, you can work around that.
Yeah.
And we can install it here. We can just, we're gonna go to someone's garage. We can
Get
do
a
an
network.
installation.
Get a network. If you don't have it, get a network of friends, YouTube University. So many things that you can do by yourself. You can save some cabbage that way. Other things you have to go to the dealership for if you want to save that warranty. So be mindful of your spending. Get yourself get some good counseling and save money and use that money for rides.
Absolutely.
Make memories.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we are ending this episode here. This could last forever, to be honest with you. But we just want to close it. Let us know what is your next. What is the next thing that you're going to do? What is it? If you were to have $5,000 right now, what would you put on your motorcycle? Just to put on your motorcycle.
$5,000.
$5,000.
I'd go ham with some cams, and I would just do motor modifications. I would build it out.
Ask me.
What would you do?
I want 28 on that sucker. I will put a 120 on my motorcycle. That's what I would do. I will put a
That
120.
you don't need more.
Not anymore.
Actually, $5,000 would probably not even do it.
Yeah, it would.
It would.
It would.
There you go. There you go.
I will put a 120 on my motorcycle.
A bigger motor is always good.
Yeah, bigger motor. That's what I got. Because there is no replacement for displacement.
That's
what I
right.
like to say.
That's right.
Hey guys, subscribe,
Please.
just share with people. If this is something that you are enjoying, this is episode 6 of Unfiltered Garage. Guys, we're doing this for you. If you like it, please let us know. Please communicate with us somehow. We will just
Instagram, TikTok.
TikTok,
Just let us know. YouTube. Let us know what you want to hear us talk about.
Yeah.
If
This
you
is
have
your
any
podcast.
ideas, if you want to, hey man, shout out.
Thank
We
you.
want to hear from you guys.
Thank you guys.
Peace out.
Bye.